By AD 1000, Norse sailors had sailed from Norway to Iceland to Greenland and to a place they called Vinland. They built farms and hunting camps. Yet within centuries, the Greenland farms were empty. What broke this Atlantic venture? Eric the Red left Iceland in exile and found habitable coasts in Greenland. He named the land Greenland to attract settlers. Leif Erikson later sailed west and reported forests and meadows. The sagas describe Vinland. They mix story and fact. We use them cautiously. Think of these men as colonists. They were farmers, hunters, and traders. They sought land, timber, and trade. Their experiments began around the year 1000. Archaeologists dug at Lonso Meadows in Newfoundland. They found turf houses, a forge, and boat repair traces. Radiocarbon dates place activity around AD 1000. The site is proof of Norse presence in North America. It is not evidence of empire. The remains show seasonal occupation and limited infrastructure. Why not expand? The answer is scale and cost. A single outpost is manageable. Sustaining towns across the Atlantic is another order of difficulty. Greenland developed two main settlement clusters. Eastern and western settlements formed the colony's backbone. Farms sat near the coast where soil and microclimate allowed grazing. Farm life was mixed. People kept sheep and cattle. They hunted seals and walrus. Walrus ivory became a high-value export. Medieval Europe prized ivory. Greenland's ivory paid for imports. Iron, timber, and luxury goods. Tax records reference tusks and duties. Daily life left traces. Turf houses, middens of bone and shells, tool fragments. Those traces let us reconstruct diet, craft, and seasonal patterns. Population estimates are modest. Farms were small. The whole colony likely numbered in the low thousands at most. Marginal arable land constrained growth. Few children, limited food surplus, and long distances made demographic recovery hard. Supply ships mattered. They brought iron, timber, and occasional food. Ship routes were seasonal and risky. Missed seasons meant shortages. In that setting, a bad decade can have cascading effects. Small deficits compound over generations. Paleoclimate proxies converge on a cooling trend in the North Atlantic after about 1200. Ice cores, tree rings, and marine sediments show colder summers and more sea ice. More sea ice shortened the shipping season. Stormier weather made voyages dangerous. Sea ice also reduced coastal access and small boat fishing windows. Archaeological isotope data records dietary change. Delta 13C and Delta 15N values move toward marine signatures as people consume more fish and marine mammals. Hay yields fell in marginal fields. Livestock suffered from poorer winter forage. A cold decade could make keeping cattle impossible. Climate did not cause instant collapse. It changed probability. It amplified other stresses. Over decades, marginal farms became untenable. Walrus ivory gave Greenland a market role. Merchants transported tusks to Norway and further into Europe. That network made imports viable. A 1327 record lists tusk tallies and tax entries for walrus products. After the mid-14th century, shipments and reports declined. The Black Death and economic disruption reduced merchant activity. Political turmoil and changing tastes also shifted demand. Greenland's export earnings fell. When export value drops, voyages become less profitable. Fewer ships came. Isolation increased. The economic logic for risky runs to Greenland faded. Ecclesiastical ties weakened. Bishops were appointed for Greenland, but contact was sporadic. Church records thin in the later medieval period. The Wolsey wedding of 1408 is the last clear written event from Greenland. It marks a human moment before the record goes quiet. As priest taxes and officials vanish, social institutions fray. The colony's social glue weakens alongside economic and environmental strain. Other theories exist. Some suggest violent destruction by Inuit. Others posit a sudden plague or mass assimilation. Archaeology finds no mass destruction layers. DNA studies show limited Norse-Inuit admixture. The evidence favors gradual decline over catastrophe. 20th century archaeologists like the Ingstads reopened the story at Lonso Meadows. Their work turned saga hints into dated sites and material traces. Synthesis, fragile farms, colder seas, a collapsing ivory market, and fading ties combined. Each factor alone was manageable. Together, they pushed the colony past a tipping point. The Norse did not vanish in legend. They left stones, bones, and records. Those traces let us read a quiet story of decline.